And girls, Quad City sports fans of all ages, Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, J-Bird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk Radio Show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the dawn. Good afternoon, Quad Cities. July 13th, 2021 BC. It is the 13th day of July. We are over halfway through the year, and I'm happy to be here. Not here for a long time, but here for a good time. Yeah, it's just me. I get to go solo, but I get to talk about a lot of things that I want to talk about without having an interview. Ask people what they think about things, get their opinions, and we get to go through everything that happened through last night and what more. But real quick, since got your attention, we need to, do that housekeeping thing that I like to talk about. And that's when we get to talk about local stuff. Congratulations to Assumption, the girls' softball team. They punched their ticket to state. They beat Solon last night 12-0. Bella Nidji threw a gem of a game. She, got through a jam in the first inning. But other than that, Solon, who had 26 wins on the season, no slouch themselves, came in and came into St. Vincent Stadium Field. And Assumption won. Good for them. Same thing with Wilton. They're the number one team in Class 2A. They punched their ticket as well. And West Liberty did just as well, too. So, our softball teams are doing great. Baseball's going into their postseason here soon. The Pleasant Valley Spartans just locked up the MAC title last week. That's when we were at the John Deere Classic, so we weren't there to celebrate that on the air. So congratulations to Spartans. You can't ever, doubt what Downport Assumption, their baseball team, is going to do as well. And then yesterday, former Assumption baseball player and now current Iowa baseball player was Trenton Wallace, was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 11th round of the 2021 Major League Baseball draft on Tuesday. He was the 332nd overall pick. He is from Rock Island, but he prepped at Assumption. He is the 22nd Iowa Hawkeye to be drafted during Rick Heller's era there as the coach. So, which is great. Iowa's had someone drafted all 7 seasons of Heller's career there as the coach at Iowa. So he was the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year. He was first team All-Region and first team All-Big Ten. He had 106 strikeouts over 13 starts, and that is the second most in a single season in school history, trailing only Jim McGrain's 110 strikeouts in 1999. So congratulations, Trenton. Who knows what his history is going to be? That's something we need to wait for, like K-Kurt and everyone else to talk to about. But that's got to be big for him, and I'm sure he's very happy, and I'm sure his family is as well. Now, man, oh man, last night. If you didn't watch last night and you still are under that impression that baseball is boring, I can't help you. I just truly can't help you. You're never going to be swayed. The only I have, and I'll get to the one problem. There's only one problem I had with last night. But the home run derby was last night. It was fantastic. That is, to watch those players there with their kids, to the spectacle of the home runs, everything. The idea that just think about this. Those players autographed every single one of those balls they hit. They autographed every single one that was in the cart or whatnot that the bullpen pitchers are throwing to them. Could be their dad, could be the warm-up pitchers. They autographed every single one of them. And to get one of those to have an autograph ball has got to be insane. I had a buddy who was actually there. He was there beforehand. He was there during warm-ups. He said that Ohtani hit a ball that he said he's never seen a ball hit further than ever before. He made a prediction that Ohtani was going to win the home run derby. I texted him on our text thread and said it's not going to happen. A number one seed in the past 5 years has never won. They've been seeding this out since 2015, and number one seed has never won. And this was the first year that a number two seed did not make the finals. So after we got off the air yesterday, and we had Adrian on yesterday, Adrian's busy day, T-Red's got things to do. I wrote something on ESPN1170am.com, made the predictions. We used a link for our friends from EliteSportsbook.com. You could gamble on. I did put money on Joey Gallo. I got him at plus 350. He did not win. Pete Alonso, who was the eventual winner, and we'll go through that, was at plus 450. He had the third best odds. All right, so and Pete was only the 5 seed. The seeds were Ohtani was 1, Joey Gallo was 2, Olsen was 3, Salvador Perez 4, Pete Alonso 5, Trey Mancini 6, Trevor Story 7, Juan Soto. All right, we talked about this yesterday for those of you who are paying attention, and then we made our predictions. Adrian talked me into this, and then I believed him, so I put the predictions on there. Juan Soto over Ohtani. We also picked Pete Alonso over Salvador Perez. Joey Gallo, we predicted over Trevor Story. Trey Mancini over Matt Olson. That's 3 out of 4. So to advance, if you would have gone to Elite Sportsbook and done to their link, you would have made some money. I did like Trevor Story, though. You guys remember that from yesterday. I said he knows his field. Now, there's only been 3 times in the history of the Home Run Derby that the person has won the Home Run Derby when they hosted the All-Star game. And this is also the 3rd time ever that there's been back-to-back champions. Is it, though? I mean, 2020 didn't happen. He won in 2019. Is he technically he's not back-to-back because it didn't do year to year. Anyway, I also predicted Pete Alonso over Juan Soto in that. I had Joey Gallo, Trey Mancini. I actually had Joey Gallo over Pete Alonso. The reason why I wrote on ESPN 1170 why to fade the favorite was that he's just got so much going on. I mean, the guy's going to bat leadoff. He's going to pitch. And it just seemed incredibly hard for him to hit to win the home run derby as well. I mean, great story, but probably not would have been my favorite story. And then Joey Gallo, well, really, that's if you look at what I wrote and what I just said. The number 2 seed has made the finals every year since they started seeding this out. The number 2 seed has won the home run derby going into last night 4 out of 5 years since they started seeding this out. The number 2 seed actually had won 3 years in a row. So you kind of have to play the favorites there and do that, and that's why I went with Gallo. But he didn't have the seeds on his side because he had to go against Trevor Story. So, but back to my original point. If you, we talked about this yesterday, and it was pointed out that the NHL has a good, they have a pretty good all-star game. The NFL is terrible for their all-star festivities. NBA was a little bit off this year, and I think we've talked about this almost to nauseating degree about what happened with the dunk contest. It used to be great, but then we just turned into old men yelling at clouds like, oh, back in my day, the NBA all-star festivities were awesome. But they're still not even close. They're not even close to what Major League Baseball does and has done in the second Tuesday of July. Again, if you're listening to the show, if you're watching on Facebook Live, and you're still not sold on Major League Baseball All-Star Game, I can't help you. If you didn't watch last night, if you just shrug your shoulders and go, it's not for me, I can't help you. That was awesome, and we will break it down round by round and whatnot and everything. All I just think of is, what more can they do? Like, that's why baseball is what it is. For anyone who criticizes it, and it's boring, whatever else, you still have that. You may love MMA, but there is no such thing as an all-star for MMA. There's no way you're going to, what are you going to do? Have them go to a bar, get all liquored up, and hit one of those punching bags and see how hard it is? That's their skills competition. That's why the MMA, you're never going to have an all-star. What are you going to do for the PGA? The PGA has never done anything like this. There should be a skills competition for that. Like, I'm in for that. Like, that's what I want. I want to have a competition where that you have, like, it's a closest to the pin or a putting challenge, or even like you got to hit out of this rough, or maybe even you got to be in the water up to your ankles type of skills competition. I'm all for it. Like, I do like the NBA dunk competition when it's good, and I can't remember last time it was, or the three-point competition. That's fine. The skills competition for the NHL, never watched it. I didn't even know, like, 2 years ago that the NHL had a 3-on-3 women's exhibition. It was USA versus Canada. I didn't even know about it. They're not marketing it. But I'll tell you what, last night was awesome, and tonight's going to be great too. And we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the lines and everything else and figure out which way to bet tonight. Who do we like? Why is the National League favored? I don't know, but we're going to look at all that and more. Again, I couldn't be more excited about what happened last night, except for one thing. There's one thing I did not like, and I will get to that after we come back from our first break. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know you're probably annoyed that it's just me because everyone likes T-Roy and Adrian more than me, but it's just me, just for a little bit. I get to talk about the Home Run Derby. I get to talk about the All-Star Game. I get to tell you guys why you should gamble on that and much more when we come back here on ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us. We're local.
This is Josh Sides, head coach, St. Ambrose University Esports. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Mike, I understand you need the parts.
Carly's Car Shop demands more engine-fixing horsepower. They need to floor it to find their staff some backup.
We need to finish up that coupe today. It cannot be here for another 2 weeks.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Tyson Fresh Meats in Joslin wants you to join their team. If you're a motivated individual, this career is for you. They have immediate openings in heavy skills, make up to $26 per hour, and a $6,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today to get your $6,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $6,000 sign-on bonus. Go to TysonFoods.com/careers. Feed your future with Tyson Fresh Meats.
When the big times come to a small town, you know it will be done right.
The annual Wapello Pro Rodeo is back this year, July 16th and 17th. If that's not enough, the Wisconsin FMX featuring Cody Kavanaugh will be performing as the specialty act. 2 professional features on 2 amazing nights. The FFA members work hard to bring a family fun event to Louisa County. 2 fun nights and 2 great acts.
Get your tickets today at WapelloRodeo.com before your 8 seconds are up.
I'm Steve Weisman with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Aaron Rodgers has yet to commit to playing for the Packers this season, but appearing Monday at the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby, Peyton Manning had some thoughts on where Rodgers will be throwing fastballs this year.
I personally hope it's in Green Bay. That's what I see him as. I hope they can kind of make amends. My gut is he's not coming to Denver. My gut is Denver's going to have Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater be their quarterback. And at this point, you kind of know what your plan is. We can't be having a new quarterback 3 weeks before the season.
Elsewhere, former Eagles receiver Jordan Matthews is working out for NFL scouts this week as a tight end. Matthews has bulked up by 20 pounds to take on the new role. And NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports 7 teams have at least 85% of their players vaccinated, which would lead to lesser COVID protocols in training camp. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Sometimes watching a flawless serve can make you realize, wait a minute, I think I might love tennis. So you get 2% cash back on rackets, 2% cash back on shoes, 2% cash back on gear, tennis balls, lessons. And before you know it, you've got a decent backhand. I do have a decent backhand. Get unlimited 2% cash back on purchases and be ready for your next passion with the new Wells Fargo Active Cash Visa Card. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., all rights reserved.
How can I make sure my office never stops working?
With Staples Connect, it's possible. I need to keep my back office stocked without messing up my bottom line. Also possible, because Staples Connect has your small business covered with big savings on everything you need to get work done. This week, earn 30% back in a Staples store bonus when you buy any 2 ink cartridges, including HP. Explore what's new at your local Staples or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Limit 4, in-store only. Visit staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details and 724.
On your radio, on your phone, on Alexa. Hear and talk about the Chicago White Sox on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, we're back here in the Hassel Castle. It's just Jay Bird in the studio, but I'm doing just fine. All right, so let's talk about last night. Let's talk about the home run derby. Technically, it's his Pete Alonso's. I mean, how great is it to read repeat over and over again? But technically, it's his back-to-back because there wasn't one last year. So Pete Alonso went out there and just went off yesterday. He's only has 2.5 seasons in the majors. 53 home. He has a major league record as a rookie as 53 home runs in the season. That was in 2019. Overall, he's got 86 home runs. The guy's just built for the home run derby. Actually, if you would have read the quotes beforehand yesterday about the zone that he gets into, he probably should have been the favorite looking back on it. But I mean, I can't go against what I said and going after Joey Gallo. That's who I bet on. Anyway, his first round alone, I mean, the dude is just dancing in the box. He's rapping to himself. He's freestyling. He's just all over. He was just in the zone the entire way. All right. But so like I said, the only one that we got wrong in the first round that I got wrong was Joey Gallo. That was Trevor Story. He had 20 home runs. Joey Gallo only managed 19 home runs. All right. Trey Mancini had 24 home runs. He defeated Matt Olson. Trey Mancini was a 6 seed. Matt Olson was a 3 seed. That was 24 home runs to 23. Pete Alonso was the 5 seed. He beat Salvador Perez. He had 35 in the first round. Salvador Perez had 28. And obviously, the one that just stole the night outside of the finals was first round Soto versus Ohtani because they had to go in the swing off when Soto just was 3 for 3, just jacking the ball like nobody's business. Great first round. Of course, we all want to see Ohtani, what he can do. And we're going to be able to see more of him tonight. So it's going to be great. But like I said, the Trey Mancini, that was the feel-good story. I mean, stage 3 colon cancer. He comes back, probably going to win Player of the Year. I mean, I know Ohtani had a Tommy John surgery, but we really, everybody's pulling for Trey Mancini last night going into that, and Pete Alonso. So, and I'm going to get to that in a second. So Trey Mancini has 13 home runs. He defeats Trevor Story in the semifinals. Trevor Story only had 12 home runs. Pete Alonso had 16 home runs. He defeated Juan Soto. He had 15 home runs in the second round. Now we get to the final. Trey Mancini goes first. Trey Mancini belts out 22 home runs in the finals. Alonso with the bonus, and I'm not big on the bonus time. I'm not. It just seems like everyone got it anyway. But Alonso went nuts in the bonus time. And we were at our bar in Utica. Shout out to the Fisher twins for opening that. We were at our bar watching that. So, and I just say, once he gets to like 21, when Pete Alonso gets to 21, I just say drop the bat. Drop the bat. This day and age, I get that he's going to get, bonus or money for winning the home run derby, or it's in a contract or whatever else. Drop the bat. The Trey Mancini story is just so good. Just drop the bat and let Trey Mancini win. And everybody is just going to lose their mind over this. They're going to gush over it. And I just don't understand why he would not have done that. That would have been the story of the day. If Pete Alonso just drops a bat at 21 and just looks at Trey Mancini, he's like, "You're the home run derby winner," And then who knows? Who knows if because he already did the timeout. Who knows if Trey Mancini turns around and says, "No, swing away." But the story is just too good to not let it happen. That's the only criticism I can have of the home run derby. The only one. And that's a terrible criticism. I realize that because you want this feel-good story and everything else. And Pete Alonso is in the moment. This guy's built for this home run derby. He's great at it. But Trey Mancini made it to the finals. Stage 3 colon cancer. We all know it. ESPN probably showed the documentary, the shortened version of it, probably 18 times between all their coverage that they had before the home run derby even started. So that it would be the only criticism I could have. Other than that, no pun intended, actually every pun intended, they hit it out of the park last night. And that is why that Major League Baseball has the greatest all-star festivities over all the Big Four. Just that start right now, what happened last night, and it's only going to get better through tonight. Let's talk about tonight. This is the 91st edition of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. It'll start at 7 o'clock our time on Fox. This is going to be huge for the future of Major League Baseball because you're seeing the future before your eyes. 40 of the 79 All-Stars are first-timers. So you're missing players like Mike Trout. You're missing Jacob deGrom. You're missing Mookie Betts, Acuna, obviously, Buster Posey, all those guys. Their injuries are opting out, whatnot. But you have 40 out of the 79 players tonight are the first time ever. They've never been there before. This is the most ever. So we're watching the future of what the game's going to be. And maybe sometimes not so much the future, okay? Because some of that, just barely over half of those 40 have played like 6 seasons, but this is a good thing. It's to grow the game. It's going to be great to showcase this. Ohtani's going to start for the American League. Scherzer's going to start for the National League. This is Scherzer's, what is it? I think they said last night, 6th All-Star start, which is huge. Ohtani's also going to bat leadoff. For the American League, it's going to be Ohtani at 1, leading off. Vladimir Guerrero's going to bat 2. Xander Bogaerts is going to bat 3. Aaron Judge is going to bat 4. Rafael Devers is going to bat 5. Then it's going to go Marcus Semien, Salvador Perez, Teoscar Hernandez, Cedric Mullins, the center fielder for Baltimore. It'll be 9. For the National League, Fernando Tatis is going to lead off. Then it's going to go Max Muncy. Then Nolan Arenado, Freddie Freeman, Nick Castellanos, Jesse Winker, JT Realmuto, Brian Reynolds, and Adam Frazier will bat 9th. The American League has a 45-43 lead over the National League. There were 2 ties. I don't even want to get started about 2001 all over again. Since 1988, the American League has a 25-6 record with 1 tie. So since 1988, a 25-6 record. So the smart money is to go with what it is, right? Go with the American League. But the National League's favored. The National League is minus 115. So for those who are new to the show or new to gambling, that means you're putting up $115 to win $100. The American League is slightly behind. It's not like they're plus anything because it is an exhibition. American League is minus 105. So you're putting up 105 to win 100. The over-under is at 11. I like the under. And the under is favored at minus 115 as well. With as many pitchers as they're probably going to use, I would assume so that's the smart way to go, would be the under. But don't get me wrong, tonight's going to be awesome. That is exactly what the whole thing's about. To see the future of Major League Baseball and to see all these guys come together and play and have a good time is going to be great. And, I mean, you've got a first time ever. We've talked about this before as well. That there was a rule in Major League Baseball that a player couldn't pitch and hit at the same time. They had to change it for Ohtani. And thank goodness, even the American League manager Kevin Cash went to Major League Baseball and said, we need to do this. Joe Madden said, you guys should do this. And Major League Baseball answered. They stopped for the one time out of the very few times. Major League Baseball said, like, we're not going to do our archaic thing that we normally do and not pay attention to the fans. So this is the Ohtani show. This is showtime. No doubt about it. And last night was just start, and that first round was fantastic. But just watch him pitch tonight and hit in the American League. Well, I'm not saying American League. For the Angels, who rarely we get to see play, it's going to be huge for us. And this is what the fans want. And thank goodness for Kevin Cash for saying that, going out to Major League Baseball and saying, like, this is only better for the game. This is only better for the fans out there. So, every year I'm glued to this. I've been to an All-Star game. I was there in Target Field, and it was awesome. And I thought about that driving in here today. Like, what have I seen? What have I been a part of? Like, I've been to a Big Ten championship with Iowa against Michigan State. I've been to a bowl game before. Never been to a Rose Bowl. Obviously not to a national championship football game. I've been to Big Ten wrestling. Didn't get to go to nationals, NCAAs when I could have because of COVID. That was going to be at the Twin Cities. I've been to a Major League Baseball playoff game. Never like an American League championship game. Never a National League championship game. Never a World Series game. But the All-Star game still ranks up there as one of my favorites. And I just don't, for the life of me, I can't understand how they do not get excited about this. And I know... Throw all that stuff aside, when that tie and then now it means something, exhibition or not, to see the best of the best is just great for one night, and there's no sports going on, really. I mean, what are we really going to do? If you turn on, when we're done with the show here, if you turn on ESPN, what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk a little bit about last night, but they're going to talk more about the Olympic basketball team who lost to Australia yesterday, because ESPN is 100% in on the NBA, and that's, about it. I can't tell you what's wrong with the USA basketball team because there's nothing wrong with them. The best thing I can do is figure out, tell you that I can reach out to Elite Sportsbook, and I just pulled it up right now, and the Olympics, there'll be something on there, and I guarantee you I'm still going to bet on them to win the gold medal. It's not up right now. The odds are not on EliteSportsbook.com, but it will be, and they're the most talented team out there. But what I'm saying is that this is what you should be talking about because it's the future. If you don't like baseball, then you don't like the All-Star game. If you don't like, you can't be changed. You just can't. But this is what the future of this game is going to be, and to focus on just this exhibition is key because now you're seeing the future. Like I said, 40 players, 40 are brand new All-Stars. And it's good for however many travel teams there are out there for baseball, kids-wise. I mean, seriously, go to your social media posts. please go to your social media post, pull up what happened in the last 2 days. How many of your friends' kids have won state in baseball or softball? Well, softball's more nationals this past week. How many? There's so many different states championships. There's so many different national championships going on. This game can't just die. There's just the baseball game itself. I mean, every single one of your Facebook friends has a kid somehow that won state. They're playing baseball. They're playing travel ball. So where does the thing end? Where does it that it doesn't compute when you get older? And maybe it is because, like I just said, your kids no longer win state because there can really only be one state champion when it comes to high school. Well, I mean, 4 or 5 if you go by classes. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's the whole problem, is that when you're losing the baseball thing is because they're not all winners and not all getting trophies. I don't know. All I'm saying is that right now the biggest thing for baseball is this weekend. Stop all the sticky, tacky stuff. Stop all whatever else. The future. You get to see everything that's going on in the future. Like I said, love the idea that there's new guys in the game tonight for the All-Stars. And I really, really want to be talked out of taking the favorite, the National League. I really want to follow the American League and take that tonight. And I don't think I can be talked out of taking the under. And I'm going to talk myself out of that more after this next break that we take here at ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us. We're local.
This is Randall, the QC hot dog guy. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Men who make life-changing choices today can be more active and live longer. Come on, guys. Admit you're not the man you used to be. And stop living with the symptoms of low testosterone, no energy, brain fog, muscle loss, weight gain, low libido. Limitless Male can fix that. You can get rid of these symptoms with testosterone replacement. Start living your best life today. Schedule your complimentary consult at limitlessmale.com. Insurance accepted.
One Night of Queen featuring Gary Mullen and the Works is coming to the Tax Slater Center Friday, July 23rd. One Night of Queen is a spectacular live concert recreating the look, sound, pomp, and showmanship of arguably the greatest rock band of all time. This show will rock you. Tickets for the original date will be ordered for the July 23rd show. Great seats are on sale now at the Tax Slater Center box office and Ticketmaster.com.
Hey, Sarah, how's business?
It's going well. Our clients love our work. I just wish that we could figure out how to grow faster.
I hear you. Is it slow for everyone in your industry right now?
Actually, no. I see competitors all over who seem to be very busy, even though I know my work is better than theirs. I just wish I knew how they were finding new customers. If I could do it too, I know I could beat them.
I had that same challenge until I signed up with Town Square. Now my website is on page 1 of Google, and I'm getting leads every day.
Town Square? Was it expensive?
Not at all. Zero cost to build the site, no nickel and diming, and no contracts. Just a monthly subscription that I can cancel anytime. It's awesome.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you how the most successful businesses grow and how you can do it too with no risk. Be one of the first to sign up and you'll receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
Does Aaron Rodgers get moved before the season starts?
The two teams in the AFC for me would be the Raiders, and I know they got Carr, but you send Carr back to Green Bay. I know John Gruden he's probably sitting there just trying to figure out how to get that done because he's never satisfied with the quarterback spot.
Never.
Think about it. He tried to get Brett Favre when Brett was 60. So, I mean,
but if you think about it, though, as far as location goes for Aaron Rodgers,
he was Vegas.
Vegas would be, Vegas would be optimal. Obviously, Bay Area, where like that would have really been.
That's why he was
better
really pushing.
Yeah.
He was really pushing for that San Francisco opportunity because they had a winning team. And the Raiders, maybe he is a guy who can kick them over the top. But those are the two teams in the AFC that make sense.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin, Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Renewal by Anderson.
When it came time to replace our old drafty windows, we opted for quality with style, installed by professionals.
Renewal by Anderson.
I'm Sam Hare with Renewal by Anderson. It's July and savings are heating up for the summer. It's our 31-day countdown sale. Get $350 off every window, $900 off every patio door, and with our easy payment options, there's no money down, no payments, and no interest for 24 months. It's a 31-day countdown for huge savings. $350 off every window, $900 off every patio door at Renewal by Anderson, the Energy Star Partner of the Year. Keep that cool air in and enjoy the savings. Visit us at our showroom in Davenport or online at renewalbyanderson.com.
Renewal by Anderson. We love our new windows.
The Max Kellerman Show. Did Floyd carry him? He didn't press for the knockout, but let me say something about Logan Paul and his brother Jake. They love boxing. They have passion for it. There's other ways for these guys to make money. They choose boxing, which is a tough road. So you have to really love it, which they do. They respect the sport. They never disrespect it by training as hard as they can, absorbing as much as they can, learning it, fighting as hard as they can and as well as they can, and then moving on to the next. And by the way, doing a great job promoting the sport and having people put their eyeballs on it. I don't know. I'm not mad at the Paul brothers for that. I'm not going to be mad at Floyd for making $50 to $100 million for an exhibition. Now, that's what it was, an exhibition. It was an exhibition. Floyd was exhibiting his boxing skills against a novice boxer who's much bigger than him.
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170. Don't miss a moment of the game while you're doing yard work. Download our app and take your sports leader with you everywhere. From the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, welcome back. Don't Hassle So Local here on ESPN 1170 AM. As we were talking about before the break, we're talking about the All-Star festivities. Pete Alonso was a back-to-back winner, becoming just the Home Run Derby, becoming just the third back-to-back Home Run Derby winner of all time. And those that belongs to Ken Griffey Jr. and Yoenis Cespedes. So, also, July 12th, 1971, 50 years ago, is what's considered the greatest All-Star game of all time. 22 players played in 1971 that went into Cooperstown. They went to the Hall of Fame. In the American League, there was Rod Carew, Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson, Carl Yastrzemski, Reggie Jackson, Al Kaline, Harmon Killebrew, Jim Palmer, and Louis Aparicio. In the National League, there was 13 that went in the Hall of Fame. Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Willie McCovey, Johnny Bench, Willie Stargell, Lou Brock, Tom Seaver, Joe Torre, Ron Santo, Roberto Clemente, Juan Marichal, Steve Carlton, and Fergie Jenkins. Here is the craziest thing about this. 50 years ago, 50, Doc Ellis started, Vida Blue started. Doc Ellis for the National League, Vida Blue for the American League. They were the first and still only opposing all-star starters who were both black. 50 years ago. That's nuts. That is crazy. Just want to throw that out there. It's a little bit nuts for me. All right, here's a question for you there for those of you out there listening on radio, on your terrestrial radio in the car. Listen on the app at ESPN 1170 AM or listen to ESPN1170am.com or on Facebook Live as well. Who holds the record for the most Major League Baseball All-Star appearances? I'll give you 4. Is it Willie Mays? Is it Hank Aaron? Is it Babe Ruth? Or is it Cal Ripken Jr.? Who holds the record for the most Major League Baseball All-Star appearances? Some other things just taking a slight turn away from the All-Star situation. The, I don't know how to even say this, what it's called. The Learfield IMG Directors Cup. It basically gives the championship to the best college team in all of sports. Was handed out. The championship was handed out the other day as of July 2nd. So they've added up all the points. And what this is they've been doing this since, 93? Yeah, they've been doing it since 93, 94. And this is Texas won this thing, okay? So Texas won the Learfield IMG Directors Cup for the 2021 academic year. It's the first time in 27 years that Stanford didn't finish atop the standings. The first ever that this was handed out was in the 93-94 year, and it was North Carolina. After that, it's been all Stanford. Texas, they won it this year. The Directors' Cup formula ranks every school on a national finish in 19 sports, 4 of which are mandatory counters: men's and women's basketball, baseball and women's volleyball. For schools with more than 19 sports, the remaining best 15 are used. Here's your top 5. Texas won it, but not too much. Just by 56.25 points. Stanford was 2. Michigan was 3. North Carolina 4. Florida 5. Now, I know what you're asking yourself. Where's Iowa? And you may think that they're so far down that list, it's not even worth mentioning, but it's not true. Iowa is 30th, according to the Learfield IMG Directors Cup. 30th in the nation for sports. Iowa, in Iowa City, this small program is 30th. Just by looking at it, Michigan ranks higher, Ohio State ranks higher, Minnesota barely ranks higher, and that's it. 4th in the Big Ten is Iowa. Michigan, Ohio State, Minnesota, Iowa on that list. Got to be proud. 47th, Illinois. I haven't even made it to the second page yet to figure out where Iowa State is. But I'm happy for them that they'll be on here somewhere. You got to be proud, if you're a Hawkeye, that you're 30th in the nation according to, as compared to all the other sports. Like I said, it is mandatory. Men's and women's basketball. Baseball's on there, and women's volleyball. Then the best 15. Obviously, Iowa wrestling gets to go on there. So, other things. It was mentioned in the Harrington's Pub comment thread, and I'm going to do as well. I do want to bring up something, though, that Israel says on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. Last night, right away, we're all looking at things, and we're like, whoa, okay, they're lining up, they're taking photos, and they're all wearing 44. And right away, we're like, okay, what's this for? What is it? This is the 44th Home Run Derby. And then we go, oh, no, it's for Hank Aaron, which is great. But then we have to remind ourselves that the game wasn't in Atlanta because it got moved by Major League Baseball because of issues over IDs for voting, and it moved to Colorado. So what I was asking to Israel's on the Facebook comment thread was, did that take away from the Home Run Derby? I don't think it did, but for that moment, we have to be reminded about politics invading into our sports, which sucks. No one likes that it was moved. Obviously, business owners in Atlanta are suing Major League Baseball. Huge amounts of money were lost because of it in Atlanta, including by black business owners. And I don't like to politicize anything when it comes to to sports. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And that's the only thing. I love the fact that they wore 44 for Hank Aaron. I mean, it's an amazing story, everything about it. And if you ever get a chance, if you want to read an autobiography, read his. That's the things he had to go through is insane. But you just still have that moment. You have that moment where you allow that into your time, that with your friends to watch the home run derby, where you allow someone to talk about their politics and what they want to do and what they think everything is. So it's that's the only thing that I didn't really. I mean, I like that they did it, but then I say, do they take away from? All right, another thing, kind of off topic, but we'll do it quick. Yesterday, professional wrestling lost an icon. 2005 Hall of Famer. Headlined the first ever WrestleMania with Roddy Piper, with Mr. T, with Hulk Hogan. We lost Paul Orndorff. Not nearly did I think this does this even come close to thinking like it affects me in any way like it did. Like, I mean, I was upset when Dusty Rhodes passed away. But it's a big deal. Like that it's Mr. Wonderful. I mean, you have the Nature Boy for the best nicknames. I mean, Nature Boy's good, but he took that from someone else. Mr. Wonderful was his own. I mean, some say Roddy Piper gave it to him, but it doesn't matter. Nature Boy, there was already Buddy Rogers before Nature Boy Ric Flair. Mr. Wonderful is a great name. He also has one of the most iconic heel turns. I'm sorry. I mean, obviously we have all kinds of, I'll get to one in a second, but we have the barbershop incident with Shawn Michaels over Marty Jannetty. But when Hogan and him, they were buddies, they were friends, and then he clotheslined him, man, I remember that like nobody's business. Then you have that match on Saturday night's main event where they're in the steel cage. I think that was in Toronto. And you had to, before, I mean, talk about what the WWF, and that's what it was, and not the WWE, what they did by trying to do like instant footage replay. And I know it's predetermined, and I know it was taped, and I know that they could cut and splice and do whatever else. But the idea that one is going out the cage door and one is going over the top, and they touched at the same time to set up everything, was so huge at that time. I mean, people were just like, no. I mean, people had arguments over it. Who touched first? Was it Hogan? Was it Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff? He was great. He would, like I said, he was in WrestleMania 1. Then they had the turn where he went good guy again, and he did everything else. But it sucks that to lose a legend like that. That being said, the last thing I'm going to talk about before we're done for the hour is last week was the 25-year anniversary of the formation of the NWO. This was crazy at the time, and I know some of you out there listening, you're in your car, you're thinking like, why are we talking about this, blah, 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 on sports? But it is, I mean, sports entertainment. But you, even though you're in your car, even though you're at work, even though you're watching this and you're thinking this means nothing to you, it means something to you. Sorry. Because if you're my age, you remember what happened when the red and gold turned. When Hulk Hogan came out. It was at Bash at the Beach. It was July 7th, 1996. Kevin Nash had already gone to WCW. Scott Hall went first, then Kevin Nash, and they said that another person's coming. They're in a tag team match against Sting and Randy Macho Man Savage, and then Hogan comes out to save them, and everyone says it. And we all know what. Well, the argument is, did Bobby Heenan botch it by saying like, is he the third guy? I think that's irrelevant. I really do. But then Hogan lays a leg drop on Randy Macho Man Savage, turns bad guy, turns into Hollywood Hulk Hogan. It is a huge moment. Huge in professional wrestling. It actually, folks, for a good time, a good 5 years, made wrestling kind of cool. See, before that, if you watch wrestling, it was kind of like you were admitting that you watched a soap opera. And we all understand that, like no one wants to say like, hey, I watched Days of Our Lives or, when Marlena turned into a puma because Stefano or whatever else. I admit it. I watched that nonsense. But there was a long time where just watching wrestling, like you just didn't talk about it. It was like one of those things like, if you ran across somebody who watched it, you're like, oh, cool. It's like you guys had like, I don't know, like you did Dungeons and Dragons or something. I have no idea. But that turn made wrestling cool. And it led into something else. It led into the Attitude Era, the WWE, into the DX, everything else. But you couldn't go anywhere without seeing an NWO shirt. Right now, you can't even go to a professional wrestling event now without seeing an NWO shirt. So it was so huge. So, that being said, what are the top 5 most influential nights in professional wrestling? And I'll give them to you. I already told you one. Hulk Hogan turning and forming the NWO. That is number 1, without a doubt, most influential nights in professional wrestling. Number 2 is WrestleMania 3. Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant was not only schoolyard talk, you also have Randy Macho Man Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in what is said to be one of the greatest matches of all time. The false finishes in that are incredible. Macho Man Savage was obsessed over that match, and the storytelling going into that was so huge. Awesome. Hogan, Andre, great story. Pontiac Silverdome, WrestleMania 3. Number 3, it's WrestleMania 1. There's no doubt about it. Vincent Kennedy McMahon mortgaged his future and his life to put together WrestleMania 1. And he did it, and it was an automatic hit. It changed wrestling all over. That was in 1985. Hogan had already won the title in 84. They had already gone global to, not global, but like to cable vision and everything else. But now they made this into a pay-per-view type of thing. Must-see television. So WrestleMania 1 is 3. Number 4, the most influential things that happened in professional wrestling is the Montreal Screwjob. That is the moment when we started to get behind the curtains of things. That's the moment where you start to realize we all knew it was fake. We all knew this and that. But now you're starting to see real personalities getting upset. Now you're starting to see like, wait, Bret Hart had an offer with WCW, but he took less money to be with WWE. And then vice versa. Now Vince McMahon can't honor that contract. So they're going to not allow him to take the title like Medusa did to Nitro. Wait, they don't like each other? Wait, they really don't like each other? I know it's scripted, but HBK and Bret Hart don't like each other in real life? That is when you start to realize that there are personalities involved and there are feelings involved. And finally, number 5. It is WWE purchasing WCW. The final ending of the Monday Night Wars. So when I tell you that the NWO started this thing where it kicked off and again, I don't care about dating myself or whatever else. Monday nights were now situations where bars were showing professional wrestling on television. And then you would also have the situation that it was on TNT or TBS, I don't even remember, but WCW would do a replay. So bars would have like WWE Raw on, Monday Night Raw on, and then they'd turn around and they'd do the replay of WCW, or vice versa. They'd have it on and maybe someone would tape it. It doesn't matter. It was a big deal. The Monday Night Wars were huge. People were watching wrestling in bars. It's not like they didn't have cable. They did. But they were going out and watching professional wrestling in bars. It was nuts. Absolutely nuts. And the fact that WCW put all this money into things, when they end up, what happened, Ted Turner, he ended up selling it to Time Warner, and they didn't want to honor the contracts anymore, and they thought this was a waste of money, and it happens. But it was such a big deal that they acquired all this talent, and some people didn't go, and that's why it was a big deal when Sting finally ended up going up to the WWE, because he didn't want to go work for them for a while. And that's why he ended up going to Impact. He just sat out his contract. He didn't have to go work. He had a contract. There was few people that were still allowed to, they were grandfathered in, that the contracts were still good. And that's one of them. So there it is. There's your top 5. Number 1, the NWO. Number 2, WrestleMania 3. Number 3, the WrestleMania 1. Number 4, the Montreal Screwjob. And number 5, the purchase of WCW by the WWE. The ending of the Monday Night Wars. And that is the thing. And if you know someone, if you have, now it's Peacock, and they bought them for like $1 billion, the WWE Network. If someone has Peacock, or you know someone, and this is something that's interesting to you, go back and watch the Monday Night Wars documentary. It's fantastic. It'll take you back in time. Heck, I mean, even last night I watched the fall of the AWA, and you get to see people like Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, another great nickname, by the way. You think like Mr. Wonderful's great, Mr. Perfect's great. But you see Scott Hall before he becomes Razor Ramon and whatnot. You see the Rockers before it becomes Marty Jannetty, and the Midnight Rockers before they become the Rockers on there. But there's plenty of documentaries out there and a lot of things you can learn and see those things. But those are it. I bring that up only because of the passing of Paulo Orndorff. He was a big deal he was very influential to what becomes now known as professional wrestling. And he headlined WrestleMania 1. He had great storylines. And the guy was an incredible athlete. At the time, he was drafted by the New Orleans Saints. He made it into, he held records for the University of Tampa for years. Yards per carry, most touchdowns, everything else. He failed a physical, and that's why he never was in the NFL. And then he ended up doing like Florida wrestling and ended up to the WWE. So, that being said, this is what I expected to do. I didn't know I'd go an hour Broadway or whatnot. We're close to it, though. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. I'm going to call it a short day. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to get prepared for the All-Star game tonight. Then I'm going to write about top 5 most influential days. And also write about Iowa, number 30 in the Learfield Directors Cup standings. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and Adrian will be back in tomorrow. I'm going to set up interviews. Obviously, we're going to talk to Mike from Hidden Hills. We're going to talk to Jake from Elite Sportsbook. I tried to reach out to Emily. She was busy today. I want to talk to her about a lot of things, about what she's got planned for her coming up the next college football season, and I do want to talk to her about the Trevor Bauer situation, because I think, and what she thinks about the Rachel Nichols as well, and something we talked a little bit about yesterday. All right, you guys enjoy yourselves, Quad Cities. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
This is Brian Rothenberger, radio guy for the Quad City Storm. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
All the moves, all the news, all the NFL talk, all year round. You could find it right here. ESPN 1170 AM.
Hey, this is Dorf with Dancing with the QC Stars. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
When the big times come to a small town, you know it will be done right.
The annual Waplo Pro Rodeo is back this year, July 16th and 17th. If that's not enough, the Wisconsin FMX featuring Cody Kavanaugh will be performing as